Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to Westman Crafting Company. Today our episode of ShiftDrink is going to be a little different, whereas we're not working right now, so this is not going to be at the end of the shift. We've decided to come in and shoot some fun videos, and we figured what a perfect place to start would be Absinthe. Today I've got Jonathan Laurel with me here. He is our brand director. Obviously I'm behind the bar every day selling this stuff, and I talk about it a lot, but Jonathan is the true expert here. He has done a lot of research, put together our Absinthe classes.
So today we're going to start doing this series with our base absinthe. This is what we use for most of our absinthe cocktails. It is a Swiss blue absinthe.
And it's a perfect place to start making absinthe as
100%.
well, if you're not familiar with that.
Always what we recommend people start with, more or less in general. A lot of times you get people who are telling you they don't like licorice, or they think that's all that absinthe tastes like. Kubler, Absinthe Superieure has like a very classic palate, but also is very approachable and accessible for a lot of new beginners, even those who hate the classic licorice taste.
To start off, we're going to go ahead and pour our absinthe. Absinthe is typically served in a dose, which is 1 ounce. So we're going to pour an ounce of Kubler here. We're going to put that into our absinthe glass here. Aren't these called Pontarlier glasses?
These are called Pontarlier glasses, named after the town Pontarlier in eastern France. Where the Pernod distillery was first founded. Not quite where absinthe comes from, but more or less the French home of absinthe.
Is the sugar cube traditional?
The sugar cube is traditional as of 1890s. Before then, they used sweetening syrups and orgeat, things like that. The sugar cube was created in the 1890s. I like to say before absinthe specifically for this process.
I do know that actually I hear this at the bar a lot of people will come in and say, oh, do you set it on fire, do you blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And that obviously is not the traditional way to serve absinthe. That came around much later.
I think like the 1990s actually.
Yeah.
I think more of a pop culture vibe than it actually has any historical basis.
Which personally, I've never drank it that way. I've seen videos of people pouring it over the sugar and lighting it on fire.
Sure.
And blah, blah, blah. But today we're going to be doing the traditional French absinthe service.
Yeah. So we have our dose here. That's 1 ounce. The glass is designed to hold about 6 more ounces of water. Usually you're going to dilute an absinthe based on how much alcohol is in the base product. Kubler is 53%.
So 106 proof.
106 proof.
And that's pretty low for absinthe.
It is pretty low. Absinthe can go down to 45%, but as high as 85, 82%. There is some discrepancy about how much you want to dilute this particular absinthe or all absinthes in general. So we're going to do 2 different dilutions for you guys and show you how it works. So here you have your dose, you have your sugar cube, and you have our fountain, which is just a bunch of cold water. As cold as you can get it, pretty much.
So here's how I see it. Started off on a slow drip. It always blows me away how quick the sugar cube dissolves.
I know.
Like in my head, especially because the water's cold one night, you'd think it would take forever.
Yeah.
And then, as the water's being added, we want to keep an eye out for the louche.
The louche is what the French call this transition from clear spirit to what my glass looks like, which is this kind of like bluish, cloudy, dreamy color.
It's very opalescent.
Super opalescent.
Especially this Kubler as well. Nice opalescent.
Exactly. Most Swiss blues are instead, it's like, usually you're going to find French Blanche absinthes are going to have like a very pale white louche. The Swiss blues are known more for like a pale purple violet color almost. What's happening here is the water, when added to the absinthe distillate, is releasing a bunch of volatile oils that come from the plants during their maceration. one of these oils, anethol, gathers to a particular size to catch the light and transforms your absinthe from the clear spirit to the cloudy. And sometimes this happens really quickly, sometimes it happens very slowly, depending on what the recipe is for your absinthe. It may not happen very much at all. Some absinthes they have so much anethol they're going to be flat white and kind of oily on the top. Kubler finds a really nice middle ground between being too opaque or being too transparent. So you're gonna get I can still kind of see through my glass. It has really nice refractory qualities on the outsides. It smells really incredible. It's more or less kind of purple and opalescent around the edges, which is what you're looking for here.
Another one of those myths or urban legends around absinthe that I'd like to touch on is, because I hear another thing that I hear at the bar all the time. In fact, you've heard me argue with people about this, even close friends in my family.
True.
That absinthe will make you hallucinate or go, trip your balls off, whatever. Not true.
Super duper not true. What we know is that as early as the 1860s, pseudoscientists were publishing kind of very questionable experiments on wormwood in particular, and pointed to wormwood to be the culprit for a whole number of medical problems, and also it ended up kind of becoming confused with moral problems in France at the time. Basically, these are the 1860s versions of Dr. Phil, who are kind of talking about things that don't really understand. But I promise you, modern science tells us that there's no way that you could consume enough of any volatile compound in absinthe to have any kind of seizure or hallucination effect. You would die multiple times over from alcohol poisoning before you would ever even get close to that kind of problem.
All right.
So here we've diluted these to different measures.
This one is 5 to 1.
This one is 5 parts water to 1 part absinthe. Mine is about 3.5 parts water to 1 part absinthe.
And why do we dilute those to?
Yeah, so as we were saying, there's a couple of different ways that people approach dilution. Black Mint recommends that you do 1 to 5, so that's what we've done for Christian. I've done 3 to 5 because I measure mine based on what the overall ABV of my drinkable glass is going to be. So I brought mine down to about 12.5% alcohol from the original 53% that the spirit is. Again, it's up to you. Honestly, absinthe is about your personal journey and enjoying the glass for you. So, if I always try to stop people really early on in the glass and have them taste it and tell them we can always add more water, we can always add more sugar. It's up to you. You just can't take those things away. So we decided to do ours separately so we can compare and contrast kind of what the effects are of different dilution ratios in your mouth. So yeah,
So start getting the tasting.
yeah.
This one
I know.
smells.
The first thing you notice is, and this is true for many absinthes, you get this super powerful, gorgeous bouquet that comes lifting out of the glass and knocks you over. Kubler in particular, you can smell across the bar. When we were doing my louche earlier, I could smell it from far down the bar. Although I think I'm probably more susceptible to it.
I'll hold this up and see if you can kind of see that color in there. That is definitely minty.
Super minty, yeah. So what we know, Black Mint says that they only release that they use wormwood and green anise, or just an unspecified anise. Green anise and star anise are both used in absinthe, but they both taste differently.
Is that not referred to as the Holy Trinity? Those three.
Well, actually, it's grand wormwood, fennel, and green anise. Star anise is just kind of an extra element. We clock, relatively 20 botanicals that are commonly used to make an absinthe. We also know that they use lemon balm, which is also called Melissa, which has a minty and a lemony, kind of a soft lemon flavor. They also use mint, they use hyssop, they use coriander.
That's actually, speaking about all these herbs and whatnot, that's something that's really fun that we like to do with absinthe is we've actually taken all of those herbs and ingredients that go into absinthe and we've tinctured them. So as you're reading through the tasting notes and whatnot, you can taste those each individual tinctures in it. That way you can see what that flavor tastes like, and then when you drink the absinthe, it's much easier to pick out those flavors.
Yeah, 100%. Absinthe, like I was saying earlier, absinthe is a personal journey. And it's really hard to understand what that journey is if we just list a bunch of stuff that you don't know anything about. So we try to we say, okay, I taste coriander at this point in the spirit. We have a tincture where you can taste this. And this is what coriander tastes like. This is what wormwood tastes like. That kind of gig. Makes it more personal. It makes you much more engaging. Absinthe is supposed to be engaging. Do you mind if I taste first?
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
curious.
Yeah, exactly. I know this is probably really taboo right now, but
I know. True. Okay. Stay safe.
Hold on. Steve, which side did you put your lips on? Okay. Just wanted to make sure I put them in the same spot. Mm-hmm. It really does smell so much different than you're doing.
I know.
Keep in mind, yours has also been sitting there for a moment and was slightly warmed up.
True.
And so I definitely think as it warms up, the smell definitely changes. It becomes more aromatic.
You think so?
Typically, when stuff is cold, you don't get as much of it. I definitely think yours is more aromatic. And maybe it's less dilution as well.
Between dilution and sugar content, you are masking or lifting different plants. And that is just talking about a grain-based spirit. Kubler original, we know, is a grain-based spirit. They use wheat.
Because with absinthe, it can be either grain or brandy based.
It can be grain or brandy based. Originally, also some people use beet sugar spirit, as you know, it's pretty common. We know that Kubler uses a wheat, so you're getting kind of like a very clean slate for the spirit, for the plants to kind of do the most. So for the dilution, what I would expect is that yours is less bitter and has more of that creamy cleanliness to it, which is exactly what I'm getting. Mine is you still get much more of the wormwood, I think. Much mintier, I think. And this is why, this is every absinthe is going to be unique, but this is also why that something as simple as dilution ratio is going to affect the spirits that we're drinking. It's really crazy. So what you know from this one is right away, it's super creamy on the front. That's the anethol. Anethol as an oil is going to give you a creamy mouthfeel. Oftentimes that mouthfeel is going to be at odds with the kind of tingly dryness of other plants, notably hyssop. Also you have bitterer plants like wormwood that are going to give you kind of an earthy, bitter undertone on your palate. So you have all these things that are working together. Kubler, I think, overall is not a particularly complicated absinthe. It's super accessible. It's not very hard to discern or break apart. It's a very short-bodied absinthe. Oftentimes, blanche absinthes, they have a very short profile on the palate. And so you kind of just left pretty quickly with a clean, creamy quality to it. It's a combination of the hyssop and the anethol. Sometimes you'll get a lingering spiciness, or for Baird absinthe, a lingering bitterness, or all kinds of stuff will happen in the palate. This one, pretty short, pretty clean.
Well, guys, thanks for stopping in and sharing another drink with us here at West Main. Hopefully we'll be doing a lot more of these absinthe videos, considering we probably have maybe the largest public collection of absinthe that's offered.
Sure.
Not official, but I can't imagine. I don't know of any other place that has more than we do. We're up to almost 60.
I think we have about 70 right now, so we'll call it the largest public non-vintage collection in America.
But basically, having 60 or 70 of them sets up quite a few of these tasting videos. And if that's something that you want to know more about, go ahead and post that in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and definitely come back and share another drink with us.
We also have an absinthe guide on our website, westmain.com/absinthe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, check out the West Main. I always post the link to that below, which I will do again in this video. But until next time, guys, cheers.
Cheers.